But for now, I think they're off to a great start. I hope we get... one of the points I wanted to make. One of the most important things about this show is, like the original series and like Next Generation, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 1. Take one. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I think, is the best Star Trek series since Next Generation. I like DS9, but I like the Enterprise in my Star Trek. And I like going back to explore Pike's captaincy of the Enterprise, or at least part of it. In recent years, Star Trek has taken, with Discovery, Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard, has taken a turn towards telling darker stories and season-long arcs of stories. And Strange New Worlds is a return to episodic television, where this episode happens in its own little container, and then next week another episode happens in its own little container, and we don't accumulate too much baggage along the way. And I think that's a nice return to, just science fiction, pop culture storytelling. These are our characters, and we're going to put them in situations, and then we're going to get on with it and go on with something else. But let's talk about Strange New Worlds. So we start off where we left off in Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, for anybody that hasn't watched it, we see Captain Pike commanding the Enterprise, with number 1 as his first officer, and a young Mr. Spock. But we also see Christopher Pike travel to a Klingon monastery where he sees his future. And he sees his future in a radiation-scarred, paralyzed, painful life. And he knows when he's going to die and when that's going to happen, and when he's going to become wheelchair-bound and disfigured. This Strange New Worlds opens with him dealing with that knowledge after that adventure. So we pick up with him in Montana, having a breakfast with a young female captain, and he's unshaven, unkempt. He doesn't think he wants to return to command. And then, of course, the emergency arises. Starfleet comes to get him. You're the only person that can save them. Gotta go. And he cleans up and goes. And where he has to go is rescue his first officer, who, instead of being on shore leave, went out on a first contact mission. A warp signature was detected. The Federation sent the USS Archer to the first contact. And this is the only part of this story that I have an issue with, is they sent a starship that was crewed by 3 people. And when they got to the planet for first contact, all 3 of the people from the starship beamed down on the landing party. And so the Enterprise had to come save them. Writers need to do a little bit better than that going forward. I know we had to get Pike back into the captain's chair, and we needed a thing, and the thing that would work to do that is his first officer being in danger. But we could have spent another 15 minutes in the writer's room and sorted that out. Okay? Just be better than that. So the Enterprise goes to get them, and we meet more of our crew. We meet a young Cadet Uhura, who is gifted in linguistics. I like the way they're handling this young character, and knowing the trajectory she's on. So she's not Khan Noonien Singh, she's Lan Noonien Singh. So I hope the same lazy writers that did the thing with the Archer and the 3 people on a starship all beaming down on the landing party aren't the same lazy writers that decided to make this character a Noonien Singh. I hope there's a point to this. It will greatly disappoint me if there is no point to Lan. Although the actress is doing a good job, and she's head of security, and she has a nice sort of sternness to her. And we got to meet Nurse Chapel. So we have Jess Bush playing Nurse Chapel and Rebecca Romaine playing Number One, both of which are characters that were originally portrayed by Majel Barrett, Gene Roddenberry's wife at the time of the original series. And of course, Majel is the voice of Starfleet's computers. So there's 3 different things that are all based on Majel Barrett's performances from 50 years ago. And they're all doing really, really well. So, what was I just thinking? I was just thinking of a point I needed to make. Oh, and Dr. Mbenga is the head of medical. And I'm not sure why he would have gone from chief medical officer to serving in medical on the Enterprise under Dr. McCoy. But he was definitely on the Enterprise for a couple of episodes in a not chief medical officer role. So maybe they'll explain that. Again, I hope that's not just lazy writing. So the Enterprise, I like. It's hard to do a 21st century take on a 1960s idea of a spaceship, especially when the television series in the 60s didn't have a budget, and the new series does. And it's all okay. It's all okay. It's just entertainment. We don't need to get every light and every switch and every thing. They're paying an homage, and they're doing it well. The story, the moral of the story of this first Strange New Worlds is be careful with your technology, because the Federation makes a decision and they do a thing at the end of Star Trek Discovery that ends up sending the Discovery forward in time. And that event is witnessed by the people on this planet, and it sets them down a course of reverse engineering what they saw, and then they end up creating not a warp drive, but a warp bomb. So General Order 1, which is not the Prime Directive, it's General Order 1 of non-interference, they've already been interfered with. The Federation's actions have sent this planet on a path towards their own destruction, and it's the Federation's fault. So Captain Pike has to find a way to put them back on a path that doesn't destroy them. Because while Federation people are honor-bound and oath-bound to not interfere, when it's the Federation itself that's done the damage and causing the destruction, they do have an obligation to fix it. That's what I think. What do you think? How do you think this first episode went? Let me know in the comments if there's things you want to see them do. In the previews for the next episode, I'm a little hesitant I fear we're going to revisit a lot of Star Trek, the original series ideas. So I'm going to wait and actually watch the episode before I react to it. Because the previews make it seem like we're going to revisit one of Star Trek original series. And I'm probably wrong. I hope. And we'll see what they do. So we'll come back and talk about episode 2. But for now, I think they're off to a great start. I hope we get... one of the points I wanted to make. One of the most important things about this show is, like the original series and like Next Generation, each one of these characters so far seems to be speaking from a point of view. Each one of these characters has a voice that is unique, and they are speaking from a point of view. The Navigator, Ortega, the medical doctor, number 1, Mr. Spock, all of them are speaking lines that only their characters would say. Where in some of the other Star Trek series, they've suffered from anybody in the show could have said any line that came up, and it had no point of view. So I think that's a very strong place to start, and then we're going to go from there. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But until next time, this has been Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 1. This is Sean's Take. I'm Sean, and that's a wrap.